Hey guys, Trendane here. Welcome back to WoW-To, the Updatening, Part 3. Yes, I know, it's chilling. It's bone-chilling. It's so exciting. For those of you who have not seen Parts 1 and 2, guess what? There are annotations up there, and they will take you back to Parts 1 and 2, so that you can watch them and catch up with the rest of us. For those of you that have been watching oh so diligently, honestly, I made a mistake and there was something I forgot to tell you in the last episode. You know, I've been adjusting the resolution, as you can see, because Fraps is being bizarre about stuff. So it actually works out advantageously in this case. You can see how the user interface is all like it's overlapping in certain places, like up here in the corner, and how the minimap is overlapping the corner of this thing. The thing I forgot to show you was how to scale the UI in case you wanted to make the individual elements of the UI larger or smaller. Now, what you will do is you will either click on this button down here for the game menu or hit escape. You will go into System, and under the Advanced section you will find here UI Scale, and you can click on this and you can bring it way down here to low like this and click Apply, and boom! Oh, that is so much nicer. Now everything is off in its own little corner. It's not all crowded and there goes all of that sense of claustrophobia. Now we are all caught up. We are all, well, let's wait for everybody who had to go back and watch parts 1 and 2. Okay, good. Now we're all caught up. Now, what are we going to cover in part 3? Well, actually, what we're going to cover is how you interact with the game world itself. That being how you interact with NPCs, how you get and do and turn in quests, and the various elements of those quests, and of course, combat, because that is a very common part of doing quests. Now, NPCs, like I told you in the last one, is any non-player character. For example, Chief Hawkwind there. He is a non-player character. Oh, I should also apologize. Seer Ravenfeather back here, I noticed that she was crying the whole time we were doing our video last time. I didn't have my headphones on, so I couldn't hear her. So I apologize for that. Anyway, so people like Harut Thunderhorn or these guys, these are all these are all NPCs, as you can tell, like I said before, by the green nameplate. Now, in his case, you can see that he has a golden exclamation point above his head. That means he has a quest ready for you to take. If that exclamation point is silver, kind of, you know, it's not gold, then that means that he has a quest for you, but you're not high enough level to get to it yet. You need to go up another level or 2. Anyway, once you find them, you go over and you mouse over them, and you see how your mouse cursor goes from being this gauntlet to being this exclamation point. That means that the default function, if you right click on that character, is to open up your quest log, just like that. And he has the first step. This is what he wants you to do. This lists exactly what the kind of the lore behind the quest is. These are the quest objectives, what you need to do to get the quest completed, and the various rewards which you will receive for completing said quest. You can click on accept, and as you can see over here, you are already tracking this particular quest. Now, if we zoom in on the minimap, you look around and you don't see any other exclamation points or anything like that. So that means that there aren't any other quests available in this area. But you do have this arrow. And as you can see, when you mouse over it, it tells you the first step. That's the quest that you're on, so you have to go that way. So we turn this direction and we go out here to find what we have to do. And if you read the thing, it says follow the path east out of Canada, blah, 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 and find, oh look, we've discovered Red Cloud Mesa. Isn't that lovely? Oh, there we go. See the little golden question mark? That indicates this is where your quest is located. So you have to come down here, and you talk to Grull Hawkwind. And you, yes, ma'am. And you click on you complete your quest. You gives you 8 copper. You get 40 experience. Now watch this little bar down here. Okay, you are currently, it's hard to see, but this is actually blue right here. This little section right here is actually blue. And you see where it says that you are rested. You get 200% of normal experience from killing monsters. If you rest in an inn, this will slowly over time fill up completely blue, and you will get double XP for all your stuff. So always try to rest in an inn if you can. Boom. So you turn that in, and he gives you a whole new quest, which is the Rite of Strength. Here's all the various bits of lore, the quest objectives, which is to kill 6 of the bristleback invaders, which are these guys out here. And these are the different pieces of the different quest rewards which you will receive, that you can choose from. It says you will be able to choose one of these rewards, but we'll get back to that in a minute. And you will also receive 35 copper and 170 experience. Now, if you look at your mini-map up here, you see how it's got this big blue area. Also, if you click M to open your map, you will see you have this big area that is now highlighted here that enables, this is the entire area where this quest is to be performed. You also have your quest log shown right down here, and any quests you're tracking right there. Wonderful, brilliant, beautiful. Now, I'm not going to make you guys watch me go through this. But I will show you how we initiate combat. Now, remember, the other guy, when we moused over him, the gauntlet turned into an exclamation point, because the default action for that type of character was to open the quest journal. With these guys, you mouse over, and the mouse over cursor becomes a sword, which indicates that combat is the default. So you right-click, your character immediately goes into combat stance, and you can start casting. Now, if you look down here, you see that the only spell we have, which is Wrath, is on number 1, but you see the number 1 is white. Now, if you back up, eventually, that number, someday, turns red. That means you are now out of range. You cannot cast that spell. You're too far away to make use of it. So let's go back into range, and when I click this, this will turn gray, and you will see it kind of almost like a clock. It'll sweep all the way around and light back up. And that is the cooldown timer. Whenever you activate a skill, see there how it's slowly becoming highlighted again, that is your cooldown timer. There is no reason to go crazy clicking that thing, going click, 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 click. It doesn't do you any good. That is called spamming your buttons, and it does you no good whatsoever. Now, you see how this character has some little sparklies around him. This means that there is loot available on his corpse for us to loot. That's why it's called loot. If you mouse over, you see it turns into a bag, which means that if you right-click, it opens up the thing, and you have the option to pick up the loot one piece at a time, even if there's multiple things in there. So we click on it to open it up, and then all the sparklies go away, because we've got, right here, we've got the copper. Now, you see here it says you are no longer rested. And now you see that this bar is now purple. This means that all of our rest XP is gone, and from this point on, we will only receive, one-to-one stuff. We won't receive double XP anymore. So, let's kill this guy and see what happens. We'll cast Wrath a couple of times on him. Should be enough to kill him. And I'll actually let him swing. Boom! Down he goes. See? Now there. Now, here's a slightly different thing. If you hold down Shift while you've got your mouse over, you see how it turns into multiple bags on your thing? That means if I right-click now, it will not only open the loot, it automatically takes it all and closes the loot window. Now, you can set it to do that automatically. You hit Escape or open your system menu. You go to Interface, and under the Controls section down here at the bottom, you have this section that says Auto Loot. You click that, and then, remember I said you hold the Shift key? That's because that's the default loot key. Now, once you've got this checked, you don't have to hold the shift key. It will automatically auto-loot everything if you right-click. I'll show you how this works. We'll just come over here and we'll pick this guy. We'll just wipe him out real fast. Shouldn't take long. Run, bunny! Run! Little rabbit. Yeah, squeaky, squeaky. Now, see, I am not holding the shift button, but it's already 3 little bags because it's going to automatically loot. So I right-click, and it takes everything, and it's done. You need to be careful with that, though. If you're in a party, sometimes, I think they've adjusted this now, so I don't think that you can accidentally take someone else's loot, I think. But you need to be careful with that sometimes. Anyway, you can see we now have 3 of 6 bristleback invaders slain, so let's go ahead and knock these other guys out real fast. It should not take long at all. Run, bunny, run! And we just run through, we pick up all the stuff we need. Wait, one more. And it's actually, in the very early parts, this is very, very simple stuff. Once you move on and you get further on down the road, it gets much more difficult. You've got multiple enemies that you have to track all the time. Now you see here, our experience has gotten up to the point, because we're not just getting experience. We're not just getting experience for the quests that we're doing. We're also getting experience for each of the monsters that we kill. So as we progress, this will probably be enough to push us into level 2. But first, let's talk about quest rewards. Now you have to decide which one of these you want, because it says you get to choose your reward and you only get one. You have the sun-bleached bracer, which is item level 1. When it says binds when picked up, that means that as soon as you accept it, it is what is called soul-bound to you. You are the only person who can use it. You can either sell it to a vendor if you don't want it. You can destroy it if you don't want it, but you cannot trade it or sell it to another player because it's soul-bound to you. You can't pass it off to anybody else. Several items are bind on equip. In other words, you can pick them up and you can carry them around, and they don't bind to you until you put them on, or until you equip them as a weapon, if it's a weapon or a shield or something. Other items are bind to account, which means that, almost any character on your account will be able to use it. That will then depend if it's a piece of, say, chainmail or something. Your character, if he's a druid, can't use it because druids can't use mail. Anyway, so there is this, which is a piece of armor. It is, you see where it says wrist and leather? That is a piece of armor that goes on your wrist. It's a pair of bracers that give you an extra 8 points of armor, which is very, very good for us. There is the mud spattering hammer, which is another two-handed weapon. You can see where it's got all of the data for it. It's very similar to our staff. Our staff does 6 to 10 points of damage depending on the thing, and its speed of 3.3. Oh, hey, she just leveled. That's awesome. Now, daily quests are now reset. Oh, that's right, because it is now 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, it's 1 o'clock server time. It's 3 o'clock my time. Is that right? Can that be right? No, it's 3 o'clock in the... Oh, silly. Anyway, so, and then there's a dagger. Now you see there at the bottom where, over on the right side where it has the bent staff, and at the very, very bottom, you've got the plus 0.0 damage per second. That means that dagger does exactly the same amount of damage as the staff that we currently have equipped. Now, if you look at the hammer, it does 0.8 points more. If it does less damage than the thing, those numbers will be red, indicating that it is kind of a step down from what you have. Honestly, I want better armor, so this is what I'm going to take. Oh, and we just leveled. Awesome. Reached level 2, and we don't get to... Whoa, wow. Oh, it's a different person, but she just leveled as well. Now, he's got a brand new quest for us, which will allow us to take these gloves, if once we finish it, and then there is this other piece of gear, which, as you can see, it has the word mail in red, which means they are made of chainmail and druids cannot use them. That's why it's red. So why would they show you gear? Why would they give you the option to pick gear you can't use? Well, there's every possibility that while you're out here killing these guys, you might find a pair of gloves that are actually better than what you have right there. Or maybe you bought them. Maybe you're in a guild and a friend of yours made you some gloves that are better than these. But those cost more. These boots here, see, they cost 2 copper. You would make 2 copper if you sold those. This, if you sold them, would only get you 1 copper. Now, I know that doesn't sound like much, but at this level, that's actually, I mean, it's kind of nickel and diming, but it does help. If you've got things that you can't use, always pick the more expensive one and sell that, because, it can be good for you. Okay, now I'm not going to make you guys watch me go through and do this stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to advance to the point where it's time to pick up a spell, and then I'll bring you back in, and we can, I'll show you how to deal with that. Here's something else that you might find interesting. One of the other things that they changed in the game is that if you got multiple loot sources, you loot one of them, and it loots them all. Oh, so much faster. Anyway, onward. Okay, so here we are. Now, there was something I forgot to mention before, and that is item comparisons. Now, how do you know because I mentioned here that if you have, say, a weapon that, remember I showed you the dagger had plus 0.0, so it did exactly the same amount of damage, that I said that if the numbers were red, then, you wouldn't be able to really tell the difference very well between the two. What I didn't mention at that point is that you can do something called an item comparison. And if you have, like, a set of gloves like these, and normally when you mouse over them, it will automatically compare them against whatever you currently have equipped. If it doesn't, you can hold down the shift button, and it will automatically compare it to what you have. It's a very, very easy way to find out if the gear that you're looking at is better than what you currently have equipped. Now, you see right here, it's showing me the thing, but it's not showing me the comparison against what I'm already wearing. The reason for that is, if you open the character pane, you can see that these red cloud gloves go on your hands, but if you mouse over the hands, which are over here, I'm not wearing anything on my hands. That's why it's not comparing, because it has nothing to compare it to. So that's how you know this is what you need to take. Boom. And it goes into the thing. You just right click on it. The default action is to equip, and it occupies that space. And as you can see, they are now on my character's hands. Awesome. He also has another quest, which is a quest to go back to someone else. Now, these are what are referred to as breadcrumb quests. Their purpose is to drive you from one area to another so that you can continue on with what you're doing. So let's go ahead and we'll close the character pane, and we will move on towards this next objective. And as you can see from the arrow, it's back over there. You'll notice through here I'm kind of doing what is called strafing, running left and right. And you can use the W, A, S, and D to move forwards, backwards, left, and right. But if you want to strafe, you use the Q and E keys to move sideways. Okay, now you see here, just like before with Mr. Hawkwind back in the village, he's got this golden exclamation point above his head, which indicates that he has a quest ready for you. She has a golden question mark, which indicates that she's the one you need to turn the quest into. Now, if you zoom in, you will see both of them on your mini-map. So let's go ahead and go, turn this in.
You wish to speak?
This will probably level me because I don't have all that far to go. Got like a little more than one bubble left on this bar. So,
We shall.
huzzah! Level 3. And that means I gained a new ability, or I have gained the ability to learn the ability. No, I did learn it. See, I learned Moonfire, which is what is called a damage over time spell, or a dot. We have 2 new quests, which I will gather up real quick, and we have these quests over here. Now again, I'm not going to make you sit and watch me do this crap. It's not actually crap, it's actually a lot of fun. Oh, there's a good point, actually. Remember I mentioned PvP? Well, these characters, if you mouse over them, especially him, you see in the bottom right corner there where it has his name, Rahaku Stonehoof, level 8, Thunderbluff, PvP. He is flagged for PvP. He is a PvP target. This guy is also, as is she. However, Adana is not. If you click on her, see she's just got the normal character pane. But if you click on her, she's got this Horde logo next to her, as does he. This means that they are PvP-enabled NPCs. If somebody from the enemy faction, which in this case is the Alliance, were to show up and get anywhere near those characters, they would automatically attack them. Okay, now we get our first pieces of armor. Which one do we choose? How do we know which one to take? Now, we've got the Longstalker's rifle, but it's a gun, which clearly, by the fact that it's written in red, we can't use it. But these other 2, the Robes of the Sun, which are cloth, 17 points of armor. Now, as you can see from the item comparison, against my Novice's robe, that gives me an extra 4 points of armor, which is not bad. But right next to it is the Rabbit Chaser's leggings. Those are leather. Leather is what druids want to wear. And you can see, item comparison, those are plus 12 armor, which is considerably more armor. It's awesome. And the Rabbit Chaser's leggings, if you were to use this, the Robes of the Sun, it would replace the robe, this robe, the Novice's robe that he's already wearing. But this would replace the pants that he's wearing. So this is very cool. So we definitely pick that one. But there's also, see, but these trousers, they're cloth. Well, that's not going to help us much, but we just got some leather trousers. But what about this belt? Aha, the Thorned Cinch is also leather. Lots more. See, it gives you 15 points of armor, but there is no item comparison next to it. And that is because there is no belt currently equipped. So we definitely pick that.
Farewell.
There's 2 more quests, but before we do that, let's go ahead and open our bags, and we see we can swap out our pants, swap out our belt, or put on our belt, I should say, and we're good to go. There is the Verdant Note, which is our other quest. Right-click to read it, opens it up, and we're supposed to go and talk to our trainer, who is in the thing. But let's grab these other 2 quests first.
I've been expecting you. We shall meet again. May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
And so we have the verdant note, which we are now turning in, and much like the other, this is also a breadcrumb quest. It is designed to lead you to your trainer so that you know where they are in case you ever need to talk to them about anything. Now this will give us 130 experience, which again, as close as we are, let's see, we are at 1324 out of 1400. Yeah, we are definitely going to level off of this. Just like that. We hit level 4, and at level 4, we gain a new ability, Rejuvenation, which is our first healing spell. Now this is, we had this other spell, Moonfire, which is a damage over time spell, which basically kind of sets a target on fire and has them burn for a little while. This is a heal over time spell. It's not a big, punch of healing one gigantic block at a time. It creates a sort of a regeneration state in a given character so that they will heal over time. Sometimes that's easier for resisting what is called damage, or I'm sorry, not damage, healing aggro. If you're playing a healing class and you're in a dungeon or something, and this monster is just wailing on your tank, just beating the living crap out of them, and you keep healing them back up to full all the time, you may very well piss that monster off to the point that it's like, you are undoing all of my good work, and it will turn and come after you because you're making its job so much harder. You have to be very, very careful. Everything in this game is about balance. You don't want to do so much damage as a tank that, because as a tank, your job is not to destroy whatever it is. Your job as a tank is to soak up damage and keep the monsters focused on you, keep them fighting you, while the DPS classes, like mages and rogues and hunters and stuff, their responsibility is to kill whatever it is. Your responsibility, if you're a healer, is to make sure that everybody stays alive. Because if they start dying, a lot of people are going to blame you because it's always the healer's fault, apparently. Whatever, okay? Don't stand in the fire. Just saying.
Ancestors watch over you. Peace, friend.
See, all he wanted was for us to practice the Moonfire spell, which we've been using this whole time, but that's not the point.
Go in peace.
This breadcrumb quest is designed to bring you back here so that he can get you to practice Moonfire and learn how it works. But that's okay. It's all right. While we're running over here, this is a very good chance to tell you about item quality and exactly what that means. We haven't found what are called any gray or junk items. You can see here how the refreshing spring water and the novice pants, the name is in white. If the name is in gray, then that is an item of useless quality, and the only thing you can really do with it is sell it. That's the only thing it's any good for, really. Unless it happens to be better armor than what you're currently carrying, which does happen at early levels. However, if it's white, then it's definitely something you can use, even if it's just as some kind of reagent or something else. But if it is an item that has, like this, a golden or a yellow border around it, like that, that indicates that it is a quest item. You will not be able to sell it. You will not be able to trade it. You can drop it and destroy it if you want to, but then you'll have to abandon the quest and go and pick it up again, and that can be kind of a hassle. All right, another good point to bring up, and that is line of sight. If you can't see a target, you're not going to be able to fight it. You can still get into a battle stance. Let's say, for example, I pick this guy, and then I turn around. Okay, this says I'm too far away. Obviously, I'm too far away for melee, which is, would be fighting with your staff like that. But what if I try to cast a spell? Well, I can't do it because my target needs to be in front of me, so I have to turn to face him. Now, there is a bit of a, kind of an oblique that you can function at. So even though he's off to the side, I can still cast in that direction. Now you can see when I cast the Moonfire spell, you'll see that the what is called a debuff gets right there, and that's where that is slowly burning him. You can see it kind of slowly turns gray as it counts down. 2 more of these guys and we'll be good to go. Now you noticed earlier, well, you may have noticed earlier, that when I was freeing the Braves that were stuck in the cages, there were those other player characters that were out there that were also looking to get them. And every time I would get near one of the cages, there would already be somebody there setting that Brave free. That's the kind of thing that happens on high population servers. That's why I was talking about that in part 1. Now, this last quest, I have to burn the first, second, and third trough. I mean, how do we do that? Well, you can either right-click on this, and he will throw the torch into that trough, or you can click right there, and it'll do the same thing. That way you don't necessarily have to have your bag open to be able to do this. Sometimes you can put it on your action bar if you want to, but you don't have to. So if we just click on this, boom, he throws the torch in, and barbecued bull. Where's another trough? There's one over there. Oh, we'll get 2 with this one. Just need a little bit of barbecue sauce to go with that. It'll be perfect. Excellent. Okay, back we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and finish up all the quests out here, and I'm going to cut forward to the next town, which is Bloodhoof Village. Now that's where you first start learning things like professions and whatnot. And I think that's where we're going to go ahead and cut this one, because professions are in the next thing.
Peace, friend.
So we have the option to pick up this scarred battle boar chest, and against our novice robe you can see that that's 16 more points of armor than our novice robe currently has. And this is going to change the way the character looks quite a bit, because he won't be wearing robes anymore. Now he'll be wearing all leather. So we take this. We could take the other one, but it's male and he can't use it, which is why it's red. We will also get 75 copper and 360 experience, which will take us like out to here on our thing. Boom! There we go. And Feet of Evil. And she gives us the... Ooh, this one comes with a bag. One of the first things you're going to want to do is get more bags, because you will very quickly run out of bag space. You will be amazed how quickly it happens.
Farewell.
Okay, now, up to this point, you've seen most of the NPCs that we've had to deal with have had yellow nameplates. Most of them have been neutral. There have been the first wave that we dealt with. They're back over by the village that I showed you that had the red nameplates. These guys are significantly stronger than that. These guys are 2 levels higher than that. They're still a level below me, but they can be a little bit more difficult to deal with.
That spell isn't ready yet.
A little bit, not much. Your starting area isn't really meant to be that hard.
That's still recharging.
What you have to be careful about is the respawn rate, because these guys will reappear before you can get out. Ooh, yeah, knockback.
That's not yet.
And I'm on fire. Okay, there. I'm all right now. Now, if I had taken too much damage, I could cast this. As you can see, it's 10 seconds long, and it slowly heals 98 points of damage over time, but I'm already fully healed. Usually when you're this low level, your regeneration rate is so high, it's very, very difficult to get yourself killed unless you intentionally bite off more than you can chew. Kind of forgot to change that robe, didn't I? Well, it's a good thing that those guys didn't kick my butt. All right, let's talk to Chief Hawkwind. Here, have this guy's hair. And I'm going to take... Oh, see, these are cloth boots. Or, excuse me, slippers. This is a leather belt, but we already have a leather belt. So this is a very good example of, item comparison. They're both belts, they're both leather, but as you can see, the Sunwalker belt is 3 points more than the Thorn Cinch. So we definitely want to take that. So you have to choose between these two, but you will also get this. That's good. Goods. Oh, and a level. Very nice. And, oh yes, we have to use the ceremonial offering at Great Mother Hawkwind's grave. Everybody kneel down. There's the offering placed. I'm going to put this belt on. Ooh. Put all my food up there.
Well met.
Okay. Here's another breadcrumb quest to go up there and talk to that person. Now, before I do that, there is one other group of people I want you to meet. Vendors. Vendors are some amazing people because you will wind up... Okay, this guy, armorer and shield crafter. The things that he sells, they're all red. We can't use them. Druids can't use shields. If I were a warrior or a hunter or something, I could probably use some of those, but I can't. For the weaponsmith, this gent over here, I can use some of the things that he sells because druids can use these items, but I can't use these. And of course, she, however, is a leather armor merchant. I should be able to use everything she has. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to sell off these pants, this robe, and this belt. Now, the default thing in this case is if you right click, it automatically sells it. Just like that. And you can see we now have 6 silver, 56 copper. Down here, you have the buyback tab. If you have sold something you didn't want to, you can buy it back here. Now, this vest is better than what I have by far. Well, by 4 points. The belt is exactly the same as what I have, so I don't need it. The pants are 6 points better than what I have. The boots are exactly this. Well, no, they're not. No, they're not, because I'm not wearing any boots. Am I? Am I wearing boots? Not bag, character. I'm not wearing any boots. Why? I thought I got boots. No, those were slippers. I didn't get those. So, see, feet. I have nothing. So I could buy, God, with everything I have, I could buy all this stuff, I think. Let's find a way. Well, maybe. Okay, let's buy this. That's the same. That's better. That's better. That's better. That's better. Okay. Close this, because if you try to right click to equip these while your vendor window's open, you'll wind up selling them back there, and you don't want to do that. So we'll do this and this and this and this and this, and now I'm wearing completely different stuff. This is the same sort of situation where I said that, some things that you wind up finding or buying are going to be better than your questing gear. And you can look and see now he's got this nice neat little stuff. Now go ahead and open up this thing to talk to her again and sell all this stuff to her. Now we're at 3 silver, 61 copper. We have some food, which food and drink helps you regenerate health and mana. If you're a mana kind of class, warriors obviously don't need it. And our last quest is to go into Vargas Mesa, which is up there. Wow, now that is a very pretty view. This is Mulgore. I mean, this is the Tauren home. This is their land. I mean, you can see when the Cataclysm hit, the Thorn Snarl took over right there, and it just came in and just started destroying everything. There used to be a little water well right there. It was so cute. Anyway, so we needed to talk to this guy, and he will probably send us down there to Bloodhoof Village. Alright, so he has given us the Water of Vision, which is this. We drink it, and oh my god! Okay. Wow. I don't remember that happening before. As you can see in the chat window down here, as you pass from one zone to another, you will wind up changing chat channels. The kind of the default ones that you wind up joining are general and local defense. Local defense comes into play, especially when there's PvP going on. Typically, I leave both of those channels. I mean, I might stay in general, but I almost always leave local defense unless I'm interested in PvP, which is almost never. If you want to leave them open, you're welcome to. There are also entire lists of other chat channels that you can get involved in. And so we land in Bloodhoof Village. And we turn in our quest. Oh, we have level 6 druid here.
Well met.
Who's learned how to turn into a cat. Okay, so I think this has probably taught you a fairly good amount about how to interact with the world and how NPCs and quests and combat and things work. And obviously, you know, if there's anything you think that I haven't covered well enough, you know, feel free to drop me a message. The only other thing that I can think of that you might want to be covered at some point is what is called phasing. In those things, you know, the stuff that I'm talking about. No, in the vanilla game, I mean, the Tauren have been in the game since the beginning. But if you go to areas that were added later, like the Blood Elf starting areas, or the Draenei starting areas, or the Worgen especially. The Worgen area is very, very heavily phased. And basically what happens is as you go through and you complete certain quests, it changes the entire world around you. NPCs will disappear. You go down into a basement and you're talking to somebody, and this huge earthquake trips off. And you go back upstairs and like half the frickin' continent is gone. You are suddenly now at beachfront property, and there's hundreds of sailors dying all around you. And that is called phasing. And what it does is as you progress, it alters the world around you, and you can't really go back. Because if you go into the same area as someone else and you have phased forward, but they have not, when you walk in there, everything changes. When they walk in there, everything stays the same until they progress to catch up with you in the same phase that you're in. That can be a little bit confusing, and you have to be careful with it, but that really only applies to certain starting areas, not so much to these guys down here that were here in the vanilla thing. Once you get further into the game, there will be more phasing. Different quest lines do it at various points throughout the game. It helps keep things kind of neat and it makes it feel more like you are actually having an impact on the world as you go through and you have to slaughter all of the bristlebacks in a given area or something. You will phase forward to a different variant of the area where the bristlebacks are all gone. And it can look kind of weird because sometimes if you're far enough back away from the area, you'll still see them wandering around. But as you walk closer, you step into that phased zone and they all disappear. It's kind of weird, but it can be kind of cool too. Like, you're tripping! You done gone and ate some kind of pork you shouldn't have had. Probably should have kept it in the refrigerator or something. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. like I said, if there's anything that you think that I missed, go ahead and leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think that I could cover a little bit better. If you like this and you found it entertaining or at the very least educational, do me a favor and click the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, obviously feel free to do so. If you haven't seen, as I said in the beginning, the parts 1 and 2 before this, go ahead and click those and watch them and then catch up with us. And coming up next will be part 4. What are we going to talk about in part 4? That's a great question. You know what? Here's a list.